Ally Lewber speaks out for the first time since James Kennedy's arrest. April 14, 2025. Ally Lewber has spoken out for the first time since James Kennedy was arrested. This is the first time people have heard her speak on the issue since it happened. Fans are dying to hear what she has to say. Ally is sticking to the same story and wants fans to know what truly happened that night. There is a lot to unfold and uncover. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. James Kennedy gets arrested for domestic violence. James Kennedy was arrested for domestic violence a while ago. Fans have known about this. His girlfriend at the time, Ally Lewber, was involved in the situation. When the news first came out, all fans knew was that James was arrested. The two were at Katie Hilton's party and got into a fight on their way home. Someone called the cops on them due to them being concerned for Ally's safety. James was then released on bond, and fans could assume that he broke his sobriety by things he said on social media. Lewber was seen moving out shortly after. Ally Lewber speaks out for the first time since his arrest. Ally Lewber has spoken out for the first time since James Kennedy's arrest. However, she is sticking by the story that he never laid a hand on her. At the party, she realized that James was not himself and assumed that he had broken his sobriety. When I was finished working and came out to the party, that's when it was like, oh, his whole demeanor changed. And I could kind of tell, like, have you been drinking? I truly was like, well, he's sober, so maybe I don't know, did he drink coffee? I was like, why is he so electric right now? I was like, you're obviously drunk, because he has a sip, and it's pretty easy to spot. His whole demeanor changes. The tension was high. My friend Jack was with us also, so we're all just really fighting. Kennedy was still gaslighting me. He's like, I'm not drunk. You're drunk. And I'm like, no, we were just fighting. And then when we got out of the Uber, the fighting just continued. I was like, I don't want to be here. We were just fighting outside. I don't know who called the cops, but the cops showed up. They assessed the situation, and I was not hurt physically. Emotionally, yes. But yeah, that's kind of how that night played out, unfortunately. Fans are glad to hear her finally speak out. However, they feel bad for her that she has to go through this. It seems as though Ally never felt unsafe. James never laid a hand on her. However, he was causing a scene and blowing up on her. He broke his sobriety and became the version of himself that no one likes. Now, James is starting over on his sobriety journey, and fans hope that he can stick with it this time. Ally has no plans of getting back with James. She has her own apartment and is living her best life. What do you think about what she had to say? Do you believe that he did not touch her? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. In a long-anticipated interview, Ally Lewber has finally broken her silence regarding James Kennedy's recent arrest for domestic violence, a headline that shocked fans and rocked the Bravo universe. After weeks of speculation and concern, Ally has come forward to share her side of the story, providing insight into what really happened the night everything fell apart. The night of the incident. James Kennedy, known for his volatile behavior and turbulent relationships, was arrested following an altercation with Ally after a party at Katie Hilton's residence. Initial reports were vague, and fans were left to fill in the blanks with rumors and speculation. The only confirmed details at the time were that Kennedy was arrested, released on bond shortly after, and Ally was seen moving out of their shared residence. Now, Ally is ready to tell her truth. Ally's account. In an exclusive sit-down, Ally described the emotional whirlwind that unfolded that night. According to her, things took a turn when she noticed a distinct change in James' behavior, one she had sadly come to associate with him breaking his sobriety. When I was finished working and came out to the party, that's when it was like, oh, his whole demeanor changed, Ally recounted. I could kind of tell, like, have you been drinking? I truly was like, well, he's sober, so maybe I don't know, did he drink coffee? But then I thought, "No, he's obviously drunk." Allie went on to explain how quickly the energy escalated. She, James, and a mutual friend, Jack, were arguing. James, she claimed, began gaslighting her, denying he had been drinking and flipping the narrative. He was like, "I'm not drunk. You're drunk." And I'm just like, "No, that's not what's happening. We were just fighting." And then, when we got out of the Lewber, the fighting just continued. I was like, "I don't want to be here." At that point, someone, possibly a concerned bystander, called the police. According to Ally, the authorities arrived and assessed the situation. "I was not hurt physically," she clarified. "Emotionally, yes, but physically, no. That's kind of how that night played out, unfortunately. No physical harm, but emotional wounds remain." Allie's decision to speak out has brought a mixture of relief and sadness to fans. Relief that she is physically okay, but sadness that she had to endure such a tumultuous evening. While she firmly stated that James did not lay a hand on her, she made it equally clear that the emotional toll of the experience was heavy. She emphasized that this was not a healthy environment for her, and that while she did not fear for her physical safety, the emotional abuse and unpredictable behavior were enough for her to walk away for good. "I've learned what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm not." That night was the final straw. James Kennedy's sobriety struggles. James Kennedy has publicly battled with sobriety for years. Known for his on-again, off-again commitment to staying clean, fans have watched him fall off the wagon more than once. Social media posts and erratic behavior following the arrest gave many the impression that he had relapsed again. Since the incident, James has reportedly re-entered a sobriety program and is attempting to get back on track. Sources close to him say he is taking the situation seriously, but fans remain cautiously optimistic. Ally moves on. Following the arrest, Ally was seen moving out of the apartment she shared with James. Today, she's starting a new chapter, solo. She now lives in her own place and is focusing on her career, her healing, and her peace of mind. "I don't have any intention of going back," she said firmly. "I wish James the best in his recovery, but I need to prioritize my own well-being." Fans have rallied around Ally, flooding her social media with supportive messages and praising her for her bravery in speaking out. The decision to come forward, especially with such a sensitive subject, wasn't easy, but her honesty and vulnerability have resonated with many who've experienced similar emotional dynamics in relationships. What's next for James and Ally? While James remains a cast member on Vanderpump Rules, his future on the show, and with the public, remains uncertain. Bravo has not issued a statement, but insiders suggest that his behavior is under close scrutiny. As for Ally, she's not looking back. Sources say she's been spending time with friends and focusing on personal projects. There's also buzz that she may be considering a podcast or YouTube series centered on mental health and navigating emotional abuse in relationships, a platform where she could further share her story and help others going through similar situations. Fan reactions. Social media erupted following the release of Ally's statement. Comments ranged from heartbreak to outrage to support. "So proud of Ally for speaking her truth. You can tell this wasn't easy." "James needs serious help. Sobriety isn't a straight line, but this was scary." "I believe Ally. Emotional abuse is real, and I'm glad she got out." Still, there were some who questioned the full story, with a minority defending James or suggesting the incident was blown out of proportion. But most agree, whether or not physical violence occurred, the situation was deeply toxic, and Ally did the right thing by walking away. Final thoughts. Ally Lewber's words have cast a new light on what fans thought they knew about James Kennedy's arrest. By sharing her perspective, she not only clarified the rumors, but also gave a voice to the emotional complexity of leaving someone who's struggling. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Ally is prioritizing herself, her mental health, and her future. Whether she chooses to speak further or continue her healing privately, fans will undoubtedly be watching and supporting her every step of the way. What did you think about Ali's statement? Do you believe her version of events? Is there a future for James on reality TV? Share your thoughts in the comments.